It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay. Off your mind.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego the politico, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. Can in the touchlight every corner, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power. Over naira, still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego the politico, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my yegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my yegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my yegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh, yo, yo. My yegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make you shout, oh, yo, yo. My yegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Mayegun diary politico. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary na ibi number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. àní ẹ̀sùn lájú.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn lájú.
Máyégún ti dé.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn lájú.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn lájú.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn lájú.
Máyégún.
Hello there. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is Máyégún Live. Thank you so much for joining me, brethren. Tonight, as usual, I will advise you to not just read the caption of the broadcast, right? Please read the description as well. Then like the broadcast, share it, to invite your friends and then your not so friendly friends. Tell them that Máyégún today. So tonight we are going on the series or the adventure of Don't Demarket Nigeria, especially where you say the publicly available truth. You see, there are those people called the enablers. They are not just limited to APC, Egbekebe, for one excuse or another. They will find reasons why saying or calling out the corrupt, illegitimate regime of Tinubu, or better still, the failed, group of criminals called the APC, that has kind of successfully, destroyed that contraption so far. So calling them out, the obvious truth is considered by the political correctors, right? Those who want to be politically correct, okay? So they consider saying this truth as demarketing Nigeria. Meanwhile, these are a bunch of losers who will defend a druggie who happen to be the number one demarketer of that contraption. Everywhere he goes, you probably think they are seeing a president. No, they are seeing a criminal that successfully captured the government and institutions of his country with no consequences to him, but to the rest of you, huge consequences in which some of you love to live in denial of. So yesterday, from John Hopkins University in America, there's a clip, kind of like that made it to the media. It is that of Peter Obi, who was in the US after being spotted in Italy about 2 days ago. So he was a guest speaker at one organized program, right? It was like a question and answer time. And you know him. So he was able to, again, trash Tinubu's, failed policies, the corruption that they somehow disguise as reform. So in a nutshell, he was himself, said what everybody knows as an open secret, right? In which Nigeria's potential is completely sort of like wasted, in which both human and natural resources are being exploited, not to the advantage of the people themselves, but to the advantage of those they entrusted them with. So he proposed that to him, you see, the current democracy you have in Nigeria, or Africa as well, to some extent, they are not, pretty much like applicable to Africa because they're not succeeding. They are not like, So to him, a single term presidency to start with, leadership, in which, the leaders of, using Nigeria in this context now, in Nigeria is a supporter, from what he said, though. He said he's a supporter of a single term of 5 years. And if anybody has any real thing to do, they should be able to kind of like either lay the foundation, successful foundation for them, or get them to some level that another person can indeed complete them. So 5 years to reduce the wastage and possibly the desperation associated with those who are seeking power in that place. Anyway, it said a lot. So that's what we're going to start from this evening. And immediately that landed on the internet. Of course, reactions followed, including that of Segun Sowunmi, another PDP guy, who said that Obi, please stop demarketing Nigeria. Stop telling everybody about how bad it is, how worse it is, as if to say people don't know, right? So that's what we're going to start from tonight. And we're going to get to that part where in their talk of coalition, or their coalition talk, right? So there is a guy, I believe it's probably a PDP guy, right, who is advising the PDP to openly approach Peter Obi, beg him to join them. And if he accepts, also, they should possibly ask the El Rufai, the Kaduna Little Finger, right, to see if he can convince the Northern Nigeria to support Obi. Anyway, that's part of our gist this evening. Also, remember when the Benue state governor banned Obi from coming to his states? Yeah, that was just last week. So I have something on that. So let's go to John Hopkins.
Well, let me attempt to make comment without saying I clearly understood your question. But quite frankly, for me, with all these things I've said, Nigeria remains one country that have incredible potential for turnaround. We have, just like I always say about Africa, I'll be using Africa and Nigeria, have immense potential in terms of natural resources, human capital. I know it needs to be trained, but we have young age, youthful age, 60% of our age, and youthful people, very dynamic, very talented, keep pushing the right way and everything, and all that. And in terms of governance, it's just organize, like I said, competent leadership based on doing the right things. And I believe our political setup today, I've always said, we don't need first 8 years. We don't need second term, because I think it's part of our problem. We need people to just come for a single term. For me, 5 years. I believe whatever you can do. Yes, you might not be able to do whatever you think you're going to do in 5 years. That's what people say. But I say in 5 years, you can show the right direction if you mean well. Clearly, I've observed. And I know that in the first 2-3 years, you can take those decisions that can make the place to be on its right path. We need to change our parliamentary system and bring in a system that will allow. We went too far going into American system of capitalism, in terms of governance system. We need a moderate side where we can be like what is happening in Indonesia or in South Africa, where we have proportional representation in the assembly, where we have opportunity of the president to be answerable properly to the assembly. Today, if you make Peter president, I can decide not to talk to anybody. I can just hire some, maybe media talks, to be answering and calling anybody's name in social media and everything. So nobody, if the Prime Minister of India travels today, you can go and check. Every Indian knows where he is at all time. Before he leaves the country, he will tell you where he's going. When he arrives there, he will say he arrived there. Then a conversation will do that. So is the president of Indonesia, under Widodo. Everywhere he is, I can tell you, I don't know where leaders are, what they do. The president said he's going for the retreat for 2 weeks. After that, he extended, nobody's sure that the retreat extended for years, but they extended 1 week after. When you chose to be in public life, the public must know where you are. You can stay in your private life. Today, I tell people wherever I'm going. When I arrived in Rome yesterday, people knew I was in Rome. They know I'm here now. And they know I'm going to leave here to California tomorrow. Because you choose a public life. I can choose to go back to my family and decide nobody should know where I am. But you must be answerable to the people. That's why we need to change some of our political trajectory to have in the problem.
We have a...
And I am Alia. I'm a one-year MBA student here at Hopkins. It's very nice to finally meet you, Obi. I've been a huge fan. I don't think I've ever been starstruck by Nigerian politics. I think I was this time around, and I think I get it why I am starstruck by you, just watching you talk and just seeing you lay out the problems of Nigeria. I feel like you have a good system understanding of what the issues are. But having the understanding is one thing. I feel like implementing it in Nigeria is another thing, because Nigeria is a very frustrating country, to me especially. But my question is, you have these beautiful ideas on how you want to take the program. How do you start and take it? Because Mr. Peter Obi is just one. There's someone that recently wrote an article about how if you swap the House of Reps and our senators and our president over and over again, and you bring random Nigerians on the street and you give them that power, they are supposed to do exactly the same thing that's happening right now, because there is a belief that everybody is waiting for their time to enter the system and all of that. What are you going to do differently? How are you going to recruit this supporters with talent? Because at the end of the day, I just feel like it's the same thing over and over again. People come, Buhari came with this wave of change. Some of us believed in and got used. And it's
in the transactional politics of Nigeria. So people pay them to cause confusion. As I'm here now, go to the social media, all those that are being paid 20,000, 40,000 monthly to abuse your youth, whom you are fighting for their life, because at over 60, I have just few years to go. You know, but we can get it right.
So, according to Peter Obi, right, it is not enough to speak about these things, because you can continue to talk about them for as long as you want. When the people, the most affected, especially the young people, they are sort of like pushing to be food soldiers, food sellers for the same corrupt, criminal, illegitimate, inefficient, incompetent rogues assembled by the druggie himself, Tinubu. Indeed, in Nigeria, they have WhatsApp groups for almost everything. Yeah, they do. You are looking for husband, they have WhatsApp group for it. Yeah, the Women Association of inside their church, Abina Mosque, they have it. Old Student Association, they have it. Landlord Association, they have it. You know, name it. Then when it now comes to this political job, the political jobbers themselves, they have different, because all they need is the contact, and that is what these guys pay for. And how much do they pay? 20,000 naira to come on social media, push and press different kind of toxic divisive rhetorics. And then you see them all the time. You see them every now and then, right? Or he's right. So they pay them peanuts to go on social media, right? Start any sort of a toxic kind of divisive conversation, malignment. And most of the time, you see them so passionate, so passionate, emotional, seriously about people who are not in government. Do you know that no matter what some people are facing in that contraption today, that some of us can acknowledge, right? If you understand the passion with which they actually hate the likes of Showore, Obio, who else is not in any government to actually change anything about their lives. Like if you will see some of them, they will be swearing with their lives and say, rather, instead of them to follow any of these guys, right? Or even like support them or anyway, right? They will rather die in their wretchedness. They will say it. They will tell you to your face. They are so passionate. And then you're like, how come you do not have similar understanding about this guy, or these guys who are currently dealing with all of you? Like you are comfortable with the way you are being dealt with. Like, yeah, we are fine with that. So we are scared of what other guys that are trying to take over. We are scared of what they will do. Oh, no, we're not scared of what they will do. It's the fact that we actually fear what they will do. And this fear is about, I don't know. So you see the Nigerians, you will see people, they will collect political gig. Somebody who is miserably ruining their lives, like a state governor. You get to some of these states in Nigeria, then you begin to ask yourself, what happened to all these things you have been seeing on social media? All the hypes, where are the development? How come outside their state capitals, everywhere else is like abandoned villages, abandoned communities? Meanwhile, people actually live there. When you ask yourself that, then you realize that those who are doing the job of making these criminals look good on social media, they are young people. Young people who are paid peanuts. There are so many of them who actually want, seriously, they want Obi arrested for criticizing Tinubu too much, because his criticism can trigger people to begin to go after Tinubu, so therefore he should be arrested. Showore is not that lucky. They want him to be killed. I mean, I've had people from all over the political spectrum, not just APC, across. I've seen people who have actually, Nigerians, though, not even people, Nigerians, though, who have passionately pleaded with the Nigerian police that, I don't know why you people cannot just shoot him. And when you ask them, what did Showore really do? They will say, because he has no respect for their oppressors. You get that? So what do you think Peter B did? To those of you who are not from Anambra State, to start with, what would you say it did to you? Nothing. Meanwhile, those who are responsible for truncating whatever it is that you call dream, right? In that contraption right now, they do not get similar passionate, emotional kind of like a hatred from you, because there are people paid. They are comfortable that way. Give them 20,000 naira, make it 50,000 naira, and watch them tear their own family, tear their own parents, tear their fathers and mothers. If you ask them to do it, they will do it. And if for any reason you begin to try to talk sense into them, they will say, you know, saying, and our crews, all of them be the same. All of them are the same. They are just deceiving us. So, and that is why what Obi said is not wrong. Do you get that now? So the first person to respond happened to be the same guy who was on channels last week, right? Again, advising the PDP to reach out to Obi to make him their candidate. You know, PDP is technically like, doesn't really exist anymore, technically. Okay, maybe, should I say nationally, except in name. Their party secretariat currently, that is whatever, like if that it is still standing right now is because of with the weakest benevolence. The same guy that revoked their land, a political party that ran Nigeria for 16 years, didn't have their own headquarters for some reason, right? Owned by them. Anyway, long story. So the same guy, Segun Sowunmi, his name. He happened to be Atiku's spokesperson. So when Obi put this out yesterday, he was the first person to respond. Probably he will go on the media too. So his words on Twitter, so with due respect, right? These measurements are faulty. He went on to actually blame Neo this, Neo that, but I'm coming to that. He said, extremely skilled. For those who manipulate these figures, have no metrics to measure the informal sector in Nigeria. You need to stop this, especially at international forums. You hold to place the burden on them and there. You know, there are some mofos in Nigeria who have actually created this, you know, they've created this sort of like an excuse, all right, to defend the ruiners of Nigeria. So many, you know, these are Nigerians that will tell you that Nigeria is such a very rich country that the Oyibos no want Nigeria to grow. You know that theory, right? So the Oyibos, who, I mean, they can be kind of like right and wrong, sure you get, but right in the sense that when the criminals in Nigeria loot their people, some of them print money with nothing to back it, or because they were kind of able to obtain forex that they would take to these foreign countries, Western countries. Their loot are being deposited in this country. So the same Western countries that cause Africa poor, is, you know, they are collaborating with these criminals from Nigeria. I'm using Nigeria now. So yeah, you may be right when you say, oh, doing that automatically, we all know, right, contributes hugely, right, to the underdevelopment of Africa, the corruption of your leaders, and then the collaboration of the enablers, the West, right? So, but can we also blame the West for the reasons why we are unable to take down these roads? A lot of people believe, a lot of people, I mean, some of these guys have said, the reason why your criminal leaders, which somehow you agree they are criminals, that you are afraid of, that you can't really stand up to them. However, you see these colonial masters, yes, use that colonial master, they call them the neocolonists, right? Now, so these colonial masters who have been exploiting the land, now they are not doing it without the blessing of the people that you are parading as criminals who put themselves first, and maybe you last. So again, like I said, saying the truth, publicly available truth, is not demarketing your country. In fact, it is a call for help. But that help is not going to come from the people you want to blame. You get what I mean now? Yeah, he also felt like all these statistics, there are some of these educated mofos in Nigeria, right? That somehow are telling themselves, right, that if, for example, a statistic says Nigeria's poverty is currently at 70%, unemployment rate is currently at 80%. These guys will come and tell you that because it was done by the Oyibos, they always use this data in order to project you, right? To project you in a bad light. Okay. So then you're like, okay, if you are by any means want to be independent of them, so maybe you can indeed constitute a group that can conduct some of these statistics and verifiable stats, right? To dispute whatever so they are the ones that will tell you that because the way Nigeria is, right? You cannot have an accurate data of the people who are rich or poor, or the people who are hungry and those who are not. Do you get that lazy, lazy defense, right? Number one, if they say you are 70% poor, that is obvious. And all the factors to show to you how poor you are, they are also obvious. But you disagree because you don't want to appear poor. Obi Kubana Obi Kubana spent over 20 billion around his birthday, and people are saying that people are poor. Oh, Ikeja Hotel declared profit. Ikeja Hotel declared 6 billion naira profit in 6 months, and yet people are saying people are poor. Did you not see the birthday of Ojora's daughter? Did you see the birthday of the Emir's son? Did you see the wedding of the so and so? Did you see the money? See money in our water. So because of that, right? I don't believe people are poor. Do you know how many people who are selling wigs? Do you know how many people who are doing vendors online? Blah, 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 blah. Just to make you believe that they don't need to present you any empirical evidence, data to say, this is the data. Because they don't. Nigeria is a place where people will tell you that we are uncountable. Or money, a certain money is uncountable. Something is so in that regard, you have them. So number one, live in that bubble, denying the obvious without presenting any alternative facts. They are there in that country. They will tell you, the gang of the richest, there are richest men in Aba who are richer than Elon Musk, but they just don't make noise. That category of Nigerians, you get that? And you can never, in some places, you can never change their mind. So when Segun Sowunmi was like, no, let us blame them. Listen to this other part, or read this other part. Said, crazy neoliberal policy and its deep state manipulations. They are put undue pressure on Africa, right? So when you say undue pressure, so you are being so dishonest. Your criminal leaders, they are partners in the rip-off of Africa. What is this guy's name? The guy, the leader, I don't know if I should call him president though. Anyway, I'll just call him Captain Ibrahim Traore. The other guy from Mali, as well as the third guy from the Niger Republic. These were 3 countries that have been so exploited by France for decades, but it didn't do it alone. They had those in power who are their puppets, whose reward for allowing that exploitation was for them to have their palaces built for them in France, in Paris, and all those places for decades. Then these guys came and said, well, enough. They kicked out France. They kicked out France and French companies from their country, from exploiting their country. They got sanctioned. Guess what? There is another puppet, a druggie from Nigeria, who was willing to welcome France. He didn't just show interest. He was willing to go to war for France against the Nigerian Republic. Remember that. He was willing. When that didn't work, he traveled to France to go and sign what he called a rare mineral deal. Rare mineral deal with France. So France now have the right to explore and exploit these rare minerals in Nigeria. So tomorrow you are going to possibly just blame France. Like, they do now, like some of you probably still so convinced that it will be so difficult to make you see the collaboration of these rogues, that if those who represent you, if those who lead you, if they are not willing criminals, right, the West will never stop your development, ever. So right now, you've been reading a lot about Burkina Faso. You've been reading about Nigeria, about Mali. They are all facing serious economic sanctions. But within that, right, they believe that no matter what they currently throw at them, it will never be as worse as what they have endured for decades. So it's like rebuilding, while the chain of slavery that those who are leading Nigeria or those in charge of Nigeria are holding, they are not willing to drop it. So that's the point. It is not as if, it's not as if like, 10 million of you takes over all the major cities in Nigeria, shuts it down, the rest of the world is watching. And then suddenly, America will now bring in their aircraft, fighter jets, France will bring, everybody will now bring and begin to shoot you in your country. It doesn't work that way. Nothing like that has happened. That you stood up against your criminal leaders and then, the West now bring their... So you can give excuses as you want, because it is very convenient. Very convenient. Again, being politically correct. Let's blame them. Let's talk to them. Let's tell them. Let's tell them that, they are the ones who don't want us to grow. You know they don't want you to grow, but you are romancing with the people who are making that possible. But you can give excuses as much as you want. You can. It won't change anything. Gone are the days when some certain people controls the information medium and platforms, directs, sort of like controls the narratives. But that doesn't really work there anymore. No, it doesn't anymore. So you see, these days, right, people have the choice to be stupid or to be smart. There's always that choice now. I don't know. I didn't know that one. No. Well, it's by choice now. And that is why, right, the likes of Jews who are like blowing their code, blowing their art at the same time makes people like us laugh. Because it's part of the whole, kind of like shenanigans that makes up this open concentration camp. What it is, men who can be so honest enough and stand by that. So, still talking about Tinubu and those who are calling him out and planning to take over from him. So it is obvious that Peter Obi is going to contest 2027 election, no matter what anybody says. And also, for those who have been saying it, Tinubu himself have started the zone campaign for 2027. If you have been to Lagos, if you have been to Lagos Airport, Abuja Airport, and then maybe Benue, Edo, right? You probably would have started seeing either buses, posters, billboards, and all of that with, Tinubu and his wife holding themselves, telling you about 2027 and all that. And for Peter Obi himself, people believe that Peter Obi has been campaigning for 2027 from the second day that the Tinubu's judiciary confirmed him. Some said no, it was actually from the second day that Mamudu Yakubu announced that Tinubu, whichever one, is never left the space, is never left the public, glare since the time he came out to say he wants to be your president, right? So here is what some analysts, I'll use analysts now because I don't even know what to qualify them as, okay? So they believe that with the demise of PDP, with the people who are currently, they call them stakeholders, governors, who are now jumping ship, and others who are going to stay within to sabotage any efforts to try to challenge Tinubu. So there is a kind of like a belief system where they say PDP, this one said PDP should openly approach Obi, like go to him and say, you know what, come. Let us push you. I mean, come and run on the platform of this party. It's funny, right? Understanding the whole circumstances that surrounds the current state of that PDP. And maybe others too. I want you to hear this. He also said that El Rufai, I mean, I remember the time that El Rufai said he was decamping to SDP and they were going to start a coalition talk, this and that. At the time, and I'm like, I think I have an idea where this is headed. The whole thing, this was my theory, right? It's still my theory, by the way, right? So the whole thing was the only person that seems to have genuine grassroots kind of support with no money attached in the southern part of Nigeria, as at today, is the most populous man. Yeah, and he is a Peter Obi. No matter how you feel about it, doesn't matter. The most sort of like despised man. In fact, a couple in the southern part of Nigeria. I'm not from northern Nigeria, but I can imagine what it is with the development we have been seeing lately from them, their youth, their religious leaders, their political leaders, and the rest. But the most despised person right now in the southern part of Nigeria is Tinubu. But don't get me wrong, he is the most despised doesn't mean that there are no people who are willing, because of what it is, right, to get paid and tell you he's the most loved man. Well, we are talking about somebody who doesn't have to pay anybody, who doesn't have to actually like promise anybody anything before they will tell you they'll follow him. That's the guy. The only person that is like Peter Obi, in my own opinion, is Bokwari, and it is in the northern Nigeria. Just that kind of court following. But the difference is that Obi himself is not like a fanatic or extremist, whereby his followers are always going to say, if he doesn't get what he wants, they will burn everywhere down. That's the difference. Seriously. That's why it's so funny when some of you losers were calling disobedient, they're calling them violent and fascist. Bokwari's people, Bokwari's supporters in northern Nigeria, right? They killed 17 people, 15 of them, right? They were coppers in a single compound. They killed over 800 people. 800. Go and read about it. Because of 2011 elections. Because to them, how could an infidel, Jonathan, defeat their prophet? How is that possible? Prophet Bokwari. So they just went berserk. That was how violent they are. At a point, even Bokwari himself had to tell his followers that, you see, that 2011 election, if they rig it, monkey and baboons, dogs and baboons will be soaked in blood. That was how violent they are. You saw those ones with Tinubu. Those ones are like touts. Here you get now, guns and bottles. You get that. And you've seen that, right? If the obedience should have, let's say 50%, because I want it to be like half, 50% of what those who are the Ronokus, as well as the Buhari idiots, if they should have 50% of that, seriously, you would have probably witnessed a real revolution in that place, but they don't. The only power they have kind of like exercised is their power over the social media, which nobody is going to defeat. The day that Peter Obi says, hey, again, like joke, like 4 people tweeting in a room, then they will drive them again, millions of them, right? Just like that. And don't kind of like downplay that. Don't make that sound like it's nothing. A lot of you suffer from Stockholm syndrome, enough that you have actually forgotten how shook the entire system was in that dear charade 2023. how shook the entire system was, how shocking it was for a lot of them. That how did they pull it off? It must never happen again. Here you go. So it is, and maybe this is why somebody feels like Obi can save the PDP. So in my own opinion, like I said, right, when El Rufai said he was going to start a coalition, this or that, I said Obi was the target. Yeah. Because come to think of it, Atiku has nothing right now to bring onto the table. There is no real kind of like Atiku's supporters. They are cash and carry people. You get that, SPV boys. If you don't pay them, they will switch side, just like that. The state governors who are supposed to be on his side as their presidential candidate, they are all daggered down right now. Not even those ones from northern Nigeria are on his side. No, none. So what is he bringing onto the table? What is he bringing to the table? What is Fire bringing to the table? But this guy said PDP should call Obi. So the chance that El Rufai and Tinubu are fighting, right? From what some of us kind of have gathered is that is like zero. There's no evidence that truly Tinubu and El Rufai, right? Like they have actually parted ways. Now, this may be a conspiracy kind of a theory, but it will make sense eventually. Because the point is, the only person who I mean, you know, there's nobody living or dead, right, in Nigeria that could pull what Obi pulled with his obedience in a space of 18 months. 18 months, 1 year and 6 months. Not even Bokwari could pull that. Remember, Bokwari and the CPC, they have been at it since 2002. Yeah? So, this guy said that they should. So the plan then could be, let's foresee this, that this guy is not going to probably back down. But the only way we could get him curtailed and the rest of that is to see if we can put everybody in the same group, right? And then constrain them. But this guy probably disagrees. His opinion.
If I let me put it straight, the day El Rufai decides and is able to galvanize the opinion molders in the north to zero down on a P2B, for instance, as the candidate, that will be the end of the Tinubu administration.
All right. On this planned coalition, and we have heard the response from the PDP Governors Forum about this coalition. They don't want it. They say, look, come and join us. We are not joining you to win. Come and join the PDP.
That's because the PDP governors, their preferred candidate for the next election is President Bola Tinubu of the APC. Because of Southern solidarity. The bulk of the governors in the PDP are from the South. One of their own is in power. They can't work against one of their own. It's not possible. In 2003, AD didn't feel the presidential candidate because of Obasanjo. That is the nature of Nigerian politics. When Adu also became president in 2007, a number of AMPP governors then moved into the PDP. So married the daughters. Two governors actually married his daughters to have a good footing in the PDP. It has always been like that. Now, talking about the coalition, it is still too early to predict what the outcome of that coalition will be. But I can give them some tips. Okay. You see, El Rufai has a grouse against the president, a legitimate grouse, because he worked for the president. Hate him or love him, he has something, he has a basis to be angry. And he has been working assiduously to undermine the president, particularly in the Muslim north, where he's like the Khalifa to Buhari, he's like the brain box of the Muslim north. But let me give him a tip. If he really wants to see the back of the president, let me tell you for what he would do. And I think they may be on the path to really achieving that. Let El Rufai convince the Muslim north. If he's able to do that, I know he can, he has the capacity, to look towards the south for a candidate to support, specifically the southeast. If I let me put it straight, the day El Rufai decides and is able to galvanize the opinion molders in the north to zero down on a P2B, for instance, as the candidate, that will be the end of the Tinubu administration. If I let me put it straight.
So that is his own belief that El Rufai has these political clouds among the Muslim North. So we need to go to them and convince them that, not that Peter Obi no get the capacity or the competence or the character to lead Nigeria. No, it would go and convince them about this infidel, because he was the one who gave them the idea of the Muslim ticket. And right now, the impression is that Muslim tickets don't implode, like full of regrets. So the Mumu tickets don't mumu everybody beyond redemption. So you will need to go and convince them that an infidel, maybe not infidel, we have to. You see, this is also another angle to the rotten system that has been left to succeed beyond its supposed projected lifespan. You see, when people tell you that Nigeria was supposed to break up after 100 years, or the union should have been renegotiated, this and that, Nigeria has expired, Nigeria is this or that, this is one of the reasons where, you see, you will see Nigerians, right? They admire all these, beautiful countries, beautiful systems, democracies, or whatever it is, all over the world. They admire them. I'm not saying all of you admires them, okay? But at least you do have all this idea of, they admire that. When they watch a debate, especially the American politics, where they have to see candidates speaks to issues, speaks to people's problems, and offer solutions, even if they are going to be politicians as always, all talks, no action. But their job to convince people that they are better off, they have what it takes, right? Kind of like fascinates Nigerians, because they always debate these charts, debate all these conversations online. Oh, this person, you'll be like, how come you are so vested? I mean, you're so invested in American politics, or you know nothing, or you don't give a hoot about Nigeria politics, which actually affects you because you live there. You get that now? But in Nigeria, it is about tribe. It is about ethnic and religion, of course. You have to convince people who are going through hell in the hands of those who can really protect them. Those who are in the IDP camps and the rest of that. You will need to go and convince them that an infidel, a Christian is called, that's what they call anybody who is a non-Muslim, you are an infidel. An infidel should be given a chance, maybe he can protect them. And they have to feel comfortable enough. That's what that guy is saying. And then if that should happen, Tinubu's government would end before noon on the election day. He is convinced that way. It doesn't seem that the guy is factoring in the entire compromised system, institutions in Nigeria. To him, it's like, nah, all those things won't matter. Because right now, like he said also, those one from the southern part of Nigeria who are governors, PDP, supposed opposition, they have been recruited into a project of solidarity, to say, in solidarity. So if anybody wants to challenge Tinubu, you will need to bring out a southerner. And if there's any southerner at all that can challenge Tinubu, is the same guy who disgraced him in Lagos. It will be Peter Obi. But guess what? This is just part of the entire scheme. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah. So the guy has been like a nightmare. He's been like in their dreams, like they dream of him, they think of him, every little thing is considered as a dangerous or as a threat to their established norm. last week. He was in Plateau State. You've heard about the killings in Plateau State, by the way, right? Basa and Bokos, Mangu and others in Plateau State by the Fulani terrorists. Okay, so he was in Plateau State with their governor and then with the victims. Then the report then was that he was going to go to Benue to go and see the people of Agatu, right? And other places where they have been displaced. The survivors, though, right? People have been killed. The survivors have been displaced, and wherever they were, he was going to visit Benue until their governor sent his own spokesperson to go and make a public statement that Obi was not wanted in Benue State. Please don't come here, right? So the Ronokus were very much happy with Alia when that happened, because according to them, Obi is making Tinubu look bad. Tinubu was in France when the Fulani terrorists were running amok, and this terrorism of slaughtering Nigerians in their hundreds without a statement from their president, by the way, because nobody knew where he was. Was he in Paris? Was he in London? Nobody was too sure. What they were only sure of was that it was in Europe, while the Fulani terrorists were slaughtering his own people, and no comment until people started, sort of like bashing them, screaming at them. That was when Badambu went to Benue. Anyway, so Obi was going to go there. So for Obi going everywhere, seeing all these things, like, is with the internally displaced people. It was with these medical students, giving them money. It was in this community, giving them water. In that community, providing healthcare and all that stuff. Is always so. All these things makes Tinubu look so bad. So if an APC governor says, "Don't come to my state to come and take pictures of those who are victims of this new terrorist group," because to them it is giving him this political leverage. And in that regard, Obi is politicizing the people's problems by sympathizing or empathizing with them. Interesting, yeah? That is Nigeria. Now, Alia went on to the TVC to give the reasons why he told Obi not to come to his state and his reasons.
That's not the right narrative. I can never politicize that. I'm the one bearing the brunt and the pains and the sorrows of the IDPs in my state. The very respected Peter Obi was a governor. And if you are coming into someone's state, there are protocols. A very high personality, you're coming into someone's state, and your party does not even know that you are coming. And the sitting governor do not know you are coming. And then you are going into where I'm protecting even most, the IDP camp. It's my duty to protect them. They have been disbalanced. And then I need to protect them even some more. So I don't know the intent you have. Is it not courteous enough just for me to know as a sitting governor, and even to provide even more security to you, and to prepare the minds of the IDPs in there that some guest is coming to visit with them?
But the gentleman said he made several attempts.
We have been getting some United Nations
he said he made several attempts to reach you.
And there is a United Nations.
But you were not reachable.
No, sir. There is a United Nations. I mean, that is not a true story. If he couldn't reach out to me, I have a chief of staff. I have an SSG. I have a PPS.
He said he reached out to your ADC, and your ADC said he hasn't seen you in 3 days.
No, that's not true. That's not the duty of the ADC either.
But you were talking about protecting the people of Benue. Mr. Governor, quickly, because some UN data is showing malnutrition in Benue IDP camps. Your critics have asked, how does limiting help align with your priestly vow to serve the poor? If according to the gentleman, that his intent is to come and reach out to your people and give to them, how do you respond to these concerns?
How would I have known that his intent was just to come and visit these people? I don't want people politicizing the IDPs. They are not there when we're suffering with them. They are not there in their own sorrows. I am. I'm there with my people. And here's a fact. There is a United Nations protocol on any visit to the IDP. What if someone gets in there and then just starts shooting them down? If you're bringing some food to them, I need to know what kind of food you're bringing to them. I hope we're still communicating. I can't hear you.
I can hear you clearly.
Hearing me?
I can hear you clearly,
okay.
Mr. Governor.
So this is a fact. There are protocols. And we need to observe them. Because if I just let someone, you just moving from Abuja that you are going to the IDPs. Do I know the intent of you visiting the IDPs? I have to know so that they know that no one is coming to attack them.
We have to go now.
Those are the kind of clowns in charge of that contraption. Yima, they see your governor. Reverend Father Alia. You can see how he was struggling trying to make a sense out of that nonsense he was spewing, right? You need to let me know. Or they try to call you, they say you are unreachable. No, that is not true. Or he reached out to your ADC and your ADC said he hasn't seen you in 3 days. Or it's not the job of my ADC to know where I am and Then he went on to now make it like, So now, whatever it is, so we will need to post it to Alia. And then Alia, who claimed to have suffered with the people in IDP camp, that when they were suffering with them, where were they? Those are the kind of uncharitable animals in charge of that contraption. People are just so unlucky, right? But there were people who actually made him governor. Yeah, there are people who made him governor. And they will do it again. And they will do it to others too, like everywhere. It is an hopeless situation, if you come to think of it. The effort of, okay, we need to rescue this contraption. You'll be like, where are you going to start from? Where? From what side? Should we start from the left or the right? Front or back, or we should just start from the middle and spread it out? You have no idea. You will say. So the rest of us believe that don't try to save this contraption that is taking the lives of our own citizens. Break it up. And then you will save the lives of everyone. Easy peasy. Yeah? Now let's leave that a bit and go a little bit forward or a little bit further in our chat this evening. Where Wike has responded to this latest development. Is it latest? No, it's not latest. Anyway, the ongoing development, okay? Because yesterday, it was reported that the sole administrator sent to Rivers State by Tinubu, Ibas, attended his first NEC, what do they call him, the NEC meeting, National Executive Council meeting, like an elected official in that capacity when he isn't. And he went on to meet with the House of Representative Committee on Rivers. That's new. So, with a Wike, hang on. Then Fubara was also reported to have met with Tinubu. I have not seen the evidence of that, but it was in the news 2 days ago. So with a Wike was at one church service using their own altar to remind us of why there will be no peace in Rivers State except Fubara is gone. Because according to Were Wike, Fubara hasn't made any move at all to see him or seek peace, kind of. Like Fubara never contacted him. Fubara never made any move. And to those who are thinking that this is being settled, blah, 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 well, it's not. You also have some words for those of you who celebrated his collapse story, Were Wike collapsed, rushed to France, Spain, He has some for you too. It's all about, it's all about what's going on in the river states. So we'll start with Wike, and I'll give you a little bit of follow-up on that. Like the broadcast. If you haven't already, take a moment. Leave the comment section. Just a minute. No. 2 seconds. Leave the comments, go on to the video, then like it and come back. Then watch this.
1 month and 7 days after Mr. President, in his wisdom, declared a state of emergency to save River State from anarchy, I challenge any reverse so-called elder, even the traditional rulers, what attempt have they made to bring total peace? I challenge any so-called 90 years, 200 years, what efforts since 1 month and 1 week by saying that there is total reconciliation in the state. No amount of going to television to abuse anybody will bring peace. Because we have always said there are those who thrive on crisis. When there's crisis, they're happy. When there's no crisis, there's no food on the table. Those people cannot be real elders. There's no need of embarrassing of our women to be naked outside. No amount of such can bring peace. No amount of such blackmail can bring peace. What can bring peace is for you to humble yourself and say, for the interest of the state, I want everybody to work together. If not, carry all the women. Don't even wear them bra again. Don't even give them cloth. Embarrass your mothers to be naked in the public when you know you are not being sincere. If you are sincere, everybody would have known. I told our leaders, yes, some people have tried to approach me. As a man of peace, I received them. I did not pursue them. But seeing me alone does not bring peace. There are critical stakeholders that must be involved in this process of peacemaking. Nobody will be excluded. If any one group is excluded, there is no total peace. Members of the State Assembly must be involved. Members of the National Assembly must be involved. The two major political parties must be involved. Other leaders must be involved. In that way, we now know that yes, we are sincere in talking about peace. I think one thing you must get clear, that one thing you must go home and jubilate is this: Assembly maintain their seat. Two, you are able to set aside that kangaroo election. Even if nothing. So anybody who says you are nobody, he must have some mental problem. So we need peace. But let it be peace predicated on sincerity. Let it be peace that, yes, I'm not coming to play as a decoy. Not when you come and see somebody, then when you turn on television, you have people abusing the same person. That cannot be sign of peace.
We're wicked. Oh, there is more. Especially those of you who are very convinced that one day soon, Karma will catch up with Wike. The last time when the news of him collapsing and then being flown abroad, and then some blog even reported that he was dead. So people reacted. There were those who were actually like expecting the news to be true. So I did a program on that and I said, I don't believe that anything happened to him. And some of you probably were not really comfortable for me saying that because like, what do you mean? I just read it right now. My sister, see, Nigerians are quite strange. That's the word, strange people. They can be whenever they want to. There is always a story about somebody somewhere that thing happened to that can confirm to you. My brother works in the hospital when they rushed him in France. Another one will tell you, it was my sister that was, my sister working with the airport ambulance, and we're the one who took him inside, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so I said, if I was Wike, right, this was enough to kind of like show to him, if anything happened to him, like Abacha, people will be celebrating that anything bad happened to him. I mean, there are those who are actually going to celebrate it for all the different reasons. You know, I can give you one or two, right? When you see what Wike did in Obigbo, in Rivers State in 2020, the survivors of that invasion and terrorism against the Igbo people of Obigbo at the time, they possibly would just look at me and say, and so I want something to happen to him. And say, okay. So I said, if I was Wike, that was an eye-opener. Like, you are not dead, you are still alive. You could read all these things, right? You could call them hatred towards you, but these are counter reactions to what you have done. But no, he's not giving up. All of I know Sanduna. Right now, his response to all of you, right, is this. So now I can't, possibly not, or should I say I can't really stop you from wishing him that karma after watching this. Wike
wanted to kill me that I supported Tinubu. What's going on now? What's going on now? All I said, has it not happened? Has it not happened? Kill him. Because I said the truth. The truth has come out. Some of you, don't put your face on the ground. Raise your face up. Whether you're a traditional ruler, whether you are a boys brigade, raise your face up. I'm here. I'm healthy. Very, very well. I don't know to wake up in the morning. Then you carry a dangerous story that a man flown out, that is, he collapsed, that a man has been flown out. You will be flown out very soon. Just watch. And I'm going to write the condolence message to your family. Look at me very well. You think I'm 18 years, 19 years, 20 years, I say I'm competing with my son. I'm not dead. I was never sick. But even if I was sick, I'm not a human being. Assuming I was sick. I'm not a human being. I'm do the type of work I'm doing and survive. But it's not necessary to carry such propaganda. I went to my son's graduation. Immediately we finished taking picture, social media, that they have flown me out from London. But I fell down. Don't worry. Your turn to be falling down every day has come. All those who see those who fall down will hold on. It's your portion now to be falling down every day. And the one you will fall is the one that will be fiber. Congrats again. I thank your wife. It's not easy to marry a man like you. It's not easy. Each time I come to your house, I say, Madam, you are supposed to be paid more money for taking care of this man. And I've told him to go and make sure he cleans out all the private accounts you don't know. If he does not tell you today, I will tell you.
All the private accounts. So now don't hear him. Wike said, now your turn to start falling down now. I know you're probably saying it back. It is his turn to be falling down. You, Wike, your hand is coming. You will see your hand. You see, if it is not my Father in heaven, a lady was saying that the last time. Said, except if I'm not serving my Father in heaven, you will see what will happen to this Wike. All of you will see it. All right. Good luck with that. But what's talking about the elders? And the elders who he believes are those ones who misled Fubara. The seamless Fubara is believed to be misled by the River State leaders who told him to reject Tinubu's proposition for peace. And they brought, they brought the sole administrator, a sole administrator that is just like Wike says to G, obviously. And according to, this next video I'm going to share with you, they don't need anybody, they don't need any soothsayer to understand that this whole thing is one-sided. Tinubu suspended the Fubara, appointed sole administrator, suspended State House of Assembly. The sole administrator came in and then appointed his own, the Wike's people as local government administrators, gave them sole administrator appointments in different departments, ministries, and the rest of that. Who else do you need to tell you, right? Who's bidding? The administrator is doing. And what are you talking about? Peace, when the whole thing is one-sided. His position.
Yes, I would say it's very unfortunate. When you said I'm from Rivers, let me just add more information. My 4 grandparents are from Rivers State. So they don't come any more rivers than me, even though I happen to live in Lagos. You see, in every situation, I always believe in giving people time to tell us who they are, what they're about. In effect, watch before you rush to judgment. When this sole administrator was appointed, please check everywhere and anywhere. I never made any comment about him, his competence, his integrity, or anything. So what has changed? What has changed is that I think the sole administrator, either he misread his brief or he has no understanding of what his role is, and instead of coming to an inflamed situation with a view to helping to achieve stability and healing, he might be inadvertently adding fuel to the fire. I'll give you the basis. He's made some appointments. First of all, he emerged himself in an irregular manner. I would say the executive were misguided. So he's a product of the executive being misguided legally, and then the legislator introducing rascality to use a voice vote to confirm his appointment, which we all know a voice vote does not make any sense. It can never prove 2/3 because even in the House of Rep, we don't even know how many people were in the room. I saw the TV pictures, they didn't even have a quorum. A member who pointed that out was shouted down. So here is the man who came in, knows he's on shifty ground, on shifty ground. And what has he done? You know, they say, make some appointments and I'll tell you who you are. Now, he's made some appointments. Even the River State Electoral Commission, he went in there, removed people, made appointments. He then also went to all the LGAs, appointed sole administrators. So a man who himself probably has no proper mandate in a serious country with a serious legal system now decides to add insult upon injury. Instead of simply leaving local governments in the hands of the most senior full-time staff and even reading them the Riot Act to do the correct thing, he now goes to superimpose people. I challenge him to tell the nation through what process he chose those he appointed.
So why do you think he's doing that?
Let's go to the facts first, then we'll come to theories. Through what process did he make the appointments? Did he advertise the positions? Did he call for nominations? Did he search River State for the most competent, skilled persons of high integrity? In any case, like I've already said, we know ourselves in River State. You make many appointments from the people you've chosen. I can tell you who you are. With due respect, some of the people he appointed, in my personal opinion, they are riffraffs. So a man leaves Cross River State, comes to River State in an inflamed situation. I challenge him to tell the nation what process he used in making the appointments. Did he choose people that he knew personally when he was in the Navy? Who did he ask for nominations? Where did he produce some of these riffraffs from? We can go into the details later. Then he also goes to the Local Government Commission, the River State Electoral Commission. This is why I say it's adding fuel to fire. You go to an electoral commission and you bring in people that you chose through a method that you can't explain. Please, I challenge him to explain how he chose those persons. So do you want us to accept elections conducted by some of those people that he chose, where we don't even know how they emerged? Whose law? Listen, let's be fair. If I give you, Charles, an appointment to go to another state, a position of trust, I know you would wield it with some responsibility. You wouldn't just go in there and in a haphazard manner start making appointments that will inflame the situation. And I think that is disrespectful to the people of River State. He should be called to order.
I've been hearing about inflaming the situation. Is not making peace easy. This administrator is adding fuel to fire. This administrator is illegal. This administrator, the guy they appoint, the guy they dissolve, and he's appointing, is dissolving, is disappointing. He's removing all the established Fubara's appointees and replacing them with the people he called riffraff. He's adding fire. He's adding fuel to fire. He's adding fuel to fire. But I never even see ordinary lighter spark from River State since 30. How many days now? 38 days ago. 38 days ago. Everybody is talking, and the guy is, oh, everything is doing is illegal. There's no so legal backing for it. There is no this, and that. But yet, I haven't seen the fire. Some said I shouldn't see the fire.
Get us a doctor say make I take this drug 3 times a day after eating. If I dey chop 3 times a day, I go get ulcer. Doctor, I go get ulcer. Ha! Get us a doctor say
Anarchy loans. Anarchy loans.
Person get us that they say me go buy drug 10,000 naira, and he was like, if I dey chop well, I go get ulcer. Very funny guy on TikTok, right? And here is another funny guy who is now taking on the lies of Adelabu Penkelemesi, your minister of darkness. Watch this.
My sister just started to ní letter. Daddy ní letter. Whichever way, by all means necessary, you must have light, and you will not pay outrageously. Don't cook it in by daddy je. I jebe daddy tin ronu saying. Aso Rock you know, they are now based on solar panel. They allocated billions of naira for lights. Why? How many countries in Nigeria supply any, you know? Nigeria can find only, you know, can supply and when you know. Only book only cook bedu Minister of Power. I've done this. Don't. That year with you. But I don't want to teaching the dementia problem. Is dementially quite shocked. Only the that's this is the end of Nigeria. And the best thing now is Cholon back bow. To the Bashim Balo. Say one telebi Jagaba Chen I make sure people Nigeria the one party system. See Jagaba party lost by Nigeria lost on to bad TG Nigeria Junior. She be on the Burkina Faso president. Young guy. Sorry. President will be long money. I'm on BT. Level to Podunara. Side effect of dementia quite shocked man. Unriti Babang Elopestin. But the economic star is Angomla. And by yellow ye. Defend yourself. Nigeria is not safe. For the defense minister and so far we call defend the around. It's finished. We the moto lokirun won ji moto e lo de yokuro president yokuro Nigeria ti ton gbogbo atin so láti jo ina kokuku ìyàtọ̀ díẹ̀ wà ran ẹjọ́ bá wa investigate Ogun State governor wọ́n ní EFCC ń wá governor Ibribi ẹgbọ́ kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ kí lẹ ṣe wọ́n ní jẹ́ kí n padà wá àwọn aṣọ nǹkan story gangan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ so kò sí innocent governor rárá ní Nàìjíríà everybody náà ló ń ṣe àlùpàídà wọ́n yá santa mi anagala hútàlà èmi náà mà tó dáṣọ́ sílẹ̀ ń sìn oríṣiríṣi level ló ń lọ lẹ́sìn the best way now is to join them join religion politics ò ṣe join wọn sí wọ́n ti gba party wọn wà lọ́wọ́ wọ́n ti lé everybody tó wà ní PDP ti sá lọ àmọ́ àwa ò sá lọ àyídúró wọ́n yẹ santamia owó kàmẹ́ yàtà. àṣàrà o.
pásítọ̀ ó kó ọlọ́pàá ń ṣọ́ pásítọ̀ àwọn àmọ̀jọ stíkà ló ń ṣọ́ wa àṣẹ kò rí pé orí wa ti burú. ìwọ má dídá ìpápá ẹ̀dá rin jẹ́kọ̀ wà ní báàbù tó ń jẹ kò jẹ́ gbèsè àgbẹ̀tọ̀ àbí kò gbẹ́rì tí kò gbé tí abẹ́ jókòó jẹ̀rà gbẹ́rì tí bá yọ píù àwòyí àárín òmò yín pé wà nínú báàbù pé ìbátan fẹ́ mú Jésù kọjá ní àárín òun ògèrí Jésù kí ni Jésù lò àfẹ́ rí ló lò ìwọ má dídá ayé bàjẹ́.
Man, I'm actually like so teary listening to him. So it wasn't just about power. So Nigeria to finish. You know? So they want to use solar power in the Aso Rock. All right. So defense minister is telling the people to defend themselves. Sorry. I know this is just going to sound so awkward in your room right now. Like, you know, especially those of you who have the volume up. You know, the people in the other room will just be like, what's going on? Is that a laugh or is that a cry? I've heard that before. Is he laughing or is he crying? Your laugh, Mayegun, is that a laugh? Abamoti rearing you down CB. Defense minister asked the people to defend themselves. Defend their you. Then he's asking what did the dubious doctor, what did he do that the EFCC is looking for him? Anyway, he's from my state, by the way, very lovely guy. Very funny too. Now, going forward, a very terrible tragedy happened 2 days ago. Do you know one of the things I dread so much is for me to have a medical emergency while I am with you here. So you get. So there is this TikToker, they call him a disturbing. I didn't know anything about him until today. And they said he's a very popular TikToker too, right? So he was on his TikTok live doing what they always do, right? And then he suffered a medical emergency in which he had a seizure. They said he's been suffering from this seizure for a while. For a very long time, his wife came out to debunk the drug abuse sort of like rhetoric, okay? Because when this happened, the video I'm about to share with you right now is disturbing. So therefore, the viewer's discretion is advised, okay? So disturbing was live, and suddenly it became mute and suffered seizure. There was nobody around to possibly hold him. So when he collapsed, he was rushed to the hospital. A day later, which was yesterday, he died. This is how it happened. A very sad one. So his wife said that he suffered it in February, but she was around. So she was able to quickly come to his rescue, and he lived 2 months extra. And today, the wife said she was in the kitchen or something. She was busy doing something while he was on his TikTok. So probably an effort to try to call for help was when he kind of had to make that sound like a ho, 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 like that. But it was too late. By the time he collapsed, initially some said maybe it was an heart attack. Some said it was, people have said a lot. Some said it was drug, this or that. So the wife came out and said, no, it was seizure. He's been suffering from it. He's got medication for it as well. But when he had that emergency, there was nobody around. And guess what? His own viewers who were on this live stream possibly thought he was making it up. In fact, despite the news of his passing, there are those who initially, when they saw the video, they said it was a skit. So the poor healthcare system continued to claim its victims. And it doesn't really matter whether you are rich or poor, whether you are popular or not, whether you are old or young, all of this. So may his soul possibly rest in peace. That's my prayer though, right? I'm talking about Nigerians. Remember the lady? They are called out at the NYSC before they started paying them their new NYSC alawi. Right. She's come out again to raise another. This one is not about the government. This time around, it is about the people she called the influencers who have chosen never to work with her simply because of a kind of a popularity. They do not want to associate with her. She's wondering why, right? Yeah. Right.
Actions have consequence, and the consequence I've been facing is not something that I expected I will face. So I just wanted to share it for maybe a new creator or someone who's going to come into the space eventually. So please listen. Every single time I make a post, these are the kind of comments that I get to see on my feed. Even though I see a lot of positive energy and good comments, I still get to see these ones. And I feel like majority of these people think that, oh, I went scot-free, I've never dealt with any, repercussions, and that's why I'm making this video. So lately, I noticed that I've been blacklisted among influencers. Initially, I thought I was overthinking because naturally I overthink, right? So I'm like, oh, you're just overthinking this thing. It's not what you think. But then one of them just confirmed it for me. So 2 weeks ago or last week, an influencer reached out to me and said she wanted to work with me. And then she said, oh, we'll need to shoot videos and everything. She needs a digital camera and she's going to get it from her team. 2 days later, I didn't hear from her. So I had to text her first, like, what's up? You've not told me the feedback. She said her team said it's not going to be good for her image, for her brand. Yeah, that was what she said. But in my head, I'm like, what brand? Do you mean like brand image? Like, she just said, no, they just said for her brand. I said, okay, and I left it. However, lately, I've been in a lot of public and private spaces with these influencers as well. And I've also noticed a certain behavior. While they are super nice to me, as opposed to what people say, they're actually very nice. I've also noticed how careful they are. It's like they don't want to be seen or even like feel like they're around me or anything. That's how I felt like, oh, these people, it's obvious, like, you understand? It's like when I'm creating content and I'm around them, they don't even want my fingernails to show. I went to a private space with other influencers and even invited me to sit with them at a table. However, when they started creating content, after the talk and all, when they started creating content, I noticed how careful they were. As a girl, you always know, your instinct will always tell you that these people are struggling to avoid you. So when I noticed it, I became very uncomfortable and I tried to leave. The lady who invited me to sit with them, she noticed it and she said she's going to walk me out. And when she started walking me out, she was now trying to self-explain, like, oh, are you okay? Is everything okay? In my face, just mere looking at my face, you could tell that everything was not okay. And then she just started saying, oh, it's not that we don't want to involve you in our content and all. She started saying, you know, you don't really know which content will go viral. So I asked her, why are you so worried that creating content with me will go viral? Like, why are you worried about me being seen or going viral with you? The reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of people don't know that maybe I've been facing consequences, and being blacklisted is a consequence. Like I said, or I've not said this, but working in an office where you feel very uncomfortable with the people that you're working with, or they are behaving very careful around you, is actually a very big consequence. The loneliness that you feel being alone in this space is actually really heavy. And the reason why I'm making this video is not to bash any influencer or content creator that I've met recently, both in private and public space. It's just to say that if you know that I'm going to be a stain on your brand reputation, there's no need for you to try to be super nice to me. And also to the people that are always bashing me whenever I make a post about my personal life and I never talk about what I used to talk about, you should understand that it's because of security reason. I was one step away from being mobbed in public. Even the people in my corner, that were the ones who said, oh, you need to stop this, we'll take it from here because you live in this place and it's actually really dangerous for you. And that's why I stopped it and decided to go back to my actions.
Right. God bless your soul. I can imagine. Do you know how many people who have actually sent me messages that some of their long-term, never spoken to for a long time relations, right, relatives, suddenly just reached out to them simply because they saw them on Mayegun's Diary Politico. How many of you here have had to reduce your engagement on Mayegun's Diary Politico because some people will see your name, they will see your comments, and they will come to private chat you and tell you to stay away from you said, or how many of you have been told by your own close pals or family members that will just say, oh, like say, you are listening to that Mayegun Abi. Like say you are one of those people who are watching that Mayegun Abi simply because of your position on things. I've had people here who appeared on People's Parliament on Mayegun's Diary Politico, and they had a lot of explanations to do to those who probably are closer to them. So it happens. The only thing is that for somebody like me, I am a one-man mopo in that sense. So I think I work best or better when I work alone. So attaché groupings and the rest of that, they don't work for me. So, and I'm also somebody who doesn't really give a damn about people's validation. Sure, you get. I used to tell people here that, listen, you don't owe me anything. All right? That you agree with me on certain things doesn't mean that you can disagree with me on others. You do not owe me anything. And I do not owe you too. You know what I mean? Like, I do not owe you emotional, emotional sort of comfort. No. So if I say something today that makes you feel comfortable, I may say something tomorrow that will make you uncomfortable. And the only way you'll be uncomfortable with me is because when I speak about people you think you like, possibly the people you respect, they are terrible people that I have to say something about, and then you feel like I shouldn't. You get what I mean? As I'm like, no, Alia, calm down, or you know, owe me anything, I don't owe you anything, or if you like me, I appreciate it, and if you don't like me tomorrow, that is fine. So I have had that experience of where people are trying to distance themselves from you because they cannot be seen with you. To them, it is going to affect them because they are not against the system. Do you understand? They are against the people in charge of the system now. So they will be in support of the system when their own person is there, so that they are not in support of the person the person in charge of or those in charge of the system now. Doesn't mean that they hate the system. So they do not want to be seen with somebody who actually hates the system. I do. I want the entire system destroyed, even though they will do it themselves. And I don't even have to lift a limb. So when you want people, when you get to a certain stage, right, in this public engagement, you would have to ignore what people feel or say about you in that sense, so that you're not disappointed. You see, oh, I'm so surprised that these people are abusing me, despite all the things I'm trying to teach them. Nobody sends you, they will say. When you get to that stage, that's one thing I give to her, right? She's matured enough to that stage to believe, even though she keeps kind of talking about it, to keep it out there enough. When you talk about a problem, there's a chance that you are going to resolve it, right? Like a solution. When you talk more about a problem, right? Not by just covering it and keeping it to yourself. Well, I'm glad for her that she's coming of age enough that she can't really be bullied. But she's observed it, so I've seen it. I've seen that. Back in the days when I walk into a salon, you will see Nigerians in the salon who knows Mayegun very well. So they will be looking for loopholes on how to start an argument. You get that now, like arguments. They know who I am, right? So then you will see them start talking in such a way that they will try to want to draw you into getting into an argument with them, so that they can tell you the piece of their mind of how they hate what you are doing. When you continue to call out the criminals in that contraption, they'll tell you to your face. I used to have that when I go to the African shops or the salon. So you can't, like Obi said, you can't really fight for people who love their own chains, unfortunately. There are others who will do it for free, even though there are those who they pay money to go online and bully people or say all these things on behalf of the criminals in government. There are those who are doing it for free. You have no idea. So talking about doing it for free or doing it not for free, the compromised systems in Nigeria or the compromised agencies in Nigeria, Shore came out to tell us about what they are doing with your data, the ones they manage to probably extract from you. Abuse of people's data. In Shore's words.
Privacies are abused. The Nigerian immigration will collect your data to give you an international passport. The bank will collect your biometric data to give you a BVN number. Completely illegal. The National Identity Management Commission will collect your data to give you a NIN card. The Road Safety Service will collect your data to give you a driver's license. Then the INNC will collect your data to give you a voter's ID card. Your university will collect your data to give you a university student ID card. The phone companies will collect your data to give you one SIM card. If you have more than one SIM card, all the phone companies will collect your data. Same biometric data. And the banks. I've already mentioned banks, and that's BVN now. So almost 7 different commissions, maybe 10. There are some that you have not even remembered. And the NIMS. Yeah, NIMS, that's why I call NIMS now. We're talking about your international passport. So if you show up with an international passport, it has biometric data. INEC should allow you to vote with an international passport. If you show up with your national identity card, with your NIN, INEC should accept it. INEC has no business issuing ID card to people. It's fraud. They use it to do contracts. That's what it's about. And then they then go back and sell it to politicians. All those voters cards that you're seeing, half of them are not in circulation. They are with INEC officials. Whenever they want to rig a place, just drive it down. They will issue them out to people to go and vote, and they collect it back. Most people don't know this. We have participated in 2 elections, and we have been saying the same thing over and over again. But foolish people who get carried away will not believe you. They were the same people who were praising Central Bank of Nigeria for changing the color of money from black to blue or bala blue. They were the same people. They were the same people who were saying that, how are you? INEC is prepared for the election. I said it, I went to the National Assembly, I went to the Senate. I said I've stress tested the website of it. I've been doing websites for 19 solid years. At that time, I've been doing websites for 16 years. The INEC website was just a regular website where they just bought like server with Amazon. They bought some security certificates on it. But what people don't understand about websites is that websites are like computers. You can have a phone, yes, you can have a phone that has big memory. But the memory is not what makes your phone work. What makes your phone work is the processor and the phone, how good it is. A website has the same makeup, configuration. So INEC went and bought plenty of RAMs of memory on their websites without dealing with how frequently the website can react to queries. It's about queries. So if all of us are asking for one document uploaded to INEC website, and the website cannot handle the number of queries at the same time, which is the most important, is the processor. Yes. Then the website, even without any sabotage, will crash.
And that was what happened.
Yes. And that's what happened first and foremost. But if you say this, they'll tell you that you are defending INEC. Yeah, that you are working for Tinubu. But we said it before the election. We went to meetings with INEC. All the political parties supported INEC except us. We're the ones who came out and said, INEC has no website so that before you go and be lying to yourself. It came to pass on the day of election. The website crashed.
I was not resuscitated.
It cannot be resuscitated. Exactly. Yes. Privacies are abused. The Nigerian immigration will collect.
It's an unreal place, man. It's a real place. They print voters' cards, but the voters' cards are not given to the voters. Half of it are sold to the politicians. Yeah. I mean, the people will go and register that they want a voters card, right? Then they will go back to go and collect their voters card. INEC will tell them that they can't find their voters card. So it's one ridiculous, unreal place. And as Pastor Ruga put it that time, and everybody ignored. Remember, 2022.
We all pray for a country that is peaceful and prosperous. But God allows us, by our voting, to show him whether we mean the prayers we pray or not. You cannot wish this country well and vote for someone you do not believe in. You cannot. Know that your vote carries the answer to your prayers for our
high right. Voila everywhere. It's not about the cows in Abakaliki.
I don't know which kind of time mass nigga issue under block of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. God. Which kind of country be this one now? Says now go carry cow, they follow inside town. I don't go push up for village. I don't go carry cow, go village. Which kind of problem is this?
It's an unreal place. Or children who were denied their chance of sitting for JAMB simply because the system just won't work. And because of that, they had to display this kind of tantrum outside their center because the system won't work. And once they miss it, or the next year. It's an unreal place. Indeed. Or in Benue, where for the first time in a long time, they have caught some Fulani terrorists they are accused of being responsible for some of the restlessness in that estate. So, for the sake of those of you who want to try and do a C1s, because after this, they will be freed and they will be back in the field. So, from Benue, the arrest of the Fulani terrorists, ladies and gentlemen, we are C1s.
I'm at the police headquarters, and the police have caught some Fulani herdsmen from Otuko and Nakazi. So kudos to the Nigerian police force. Benue State, peace is gradually returning back. Well done. I'm at the...
It's called view once. It's not see once. View once. You know those WhatsApp messages, they say view once. Yeah, the arrest of the Fulani terrorists in Otuko in Benue States. There you have it. View it once. Now, moving away from that, right, I want to make a quick stop in Edo State where Okweodoyo was on school infrastructure inspection, put it that way. Watch this. I must have lost the audio than I thought. So it got messed up. So anyway, so that was him on school renovation inspection, I think. All right. Then he had some stuff he said at some point, but fortunately the audio is not going to be, it's not kind of like coming on. So there's no point sitting there like you're watching a screen like a deaf person, you know, like you're just, you don't need to hear anything. Just keep staring on the screen. Anyway, here is finally, okay, I'll use this one as my finally now. It is a message from Prince Jejeman to who you should listen. Meanwhile, he's also asking that we should remind them free Nnamdi Kanu. I actually saw an engagement between the National House of Representatives, to be precise, and they were discussing the illegal detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And all these guys, there are 14 of them or so, lawmakers from the eastern part of Nigeria. I saw them reject the proposal for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. And they were asking for the expatriation of Simon Ekpa and all that. So I saw that was from Prince Jejeman, let the innocent man go, be Nnamdi Kanu, and other messages.
Oh, hey, Biafra, oh, hey, Biafra. Ahmadike, ever living legend. Sadano Sokoto, I am on social media. You don't say, or I don't want social media to talk now. You throw away your phone if you don't want social media to talk. Sadano Sokoto. You hear me so? You and they are picking Buhari on a carry down the car on a kidnap him. On I don't want us to talk. Social media will be our mouth. Now you want make it come close, Abi. After I kidnap on the car, on I want make social media will be our mouth, make it come closer. Sadano Sokoto. You see, all this on a plan is not working. Hausa must get back their land. That's Sokoto one still. Hausa must get back their land. All the whole governor in northern states must be Hausa. Hausa and Kanuri, and then get north. And Middle Belt, Benue, Plateau, and then get north. It's not Sadano Sokoto. Sadano Sokoto, the land that you are living in, you stole it. You understand? Nnamdi Kanu must be free. Oh. We are going to Biafra within Nnamdi Kanu. Alright? All over the world we did. Every mouth is speaking. Free Nnamdi Kanu. See here we did. This place na Croydon, na London. It is. US, Asia, everywhere. Everybody is standing up on Nnamdi Kanu. He's a freedom fighter. Self-determination is not a crime. Referendum is only a crime in Nigeria. Self-determination is only a crime in Nigeria because criminals are running the government in Nigeria now. Yes, now. That's the reason why they are freeing Boko Haram. Releasing Boko Haram, putting them all into all institutions in Nigeria. How can you fight insecurity with Boko Haram involved in it? Fulani enhancement terrorists involved in it, you call them repentant. How can you fight insecurity? You see, this is on the deceive on herself. On the deceive on herself. You can only defend yourself inside your own nation. Because Nigeria cannot defend you now.
Get us a doctor say make I take this drug 3 times a day after eating. If I dey chop 3 times a day, I go get ulcer. Doctor, I go get ulcer. Ha! Get us a doctor say make I take this drug 3 times a day after eating. If I dey chop 3 times a day, I go get ulcer. Doctor, I go get ulcer. Ha!
If we dey chop 3 times a day. Prince Jejeman, thanks for sending that in. And on that note, we are going to call it a night. Thank you so much for your time, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And it's a good night from here.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun diary Nayibi #1.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun diary Nayibi #1.
Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú.
Mayegun diary Nayibi #1.
Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube.
Mayegun diary Nayibi #1.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí.
Mayegun diary Nayibi #1.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun diary Nayibi #1.
Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí.
Mayegun diary Nayibi #1.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun diary Nayibi #1.
Mayegun diary politico.
Mayegun diary Nayibi #1.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun.
Mayegun diary Nayibi #1.
Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o.
Mayegun diary Nayibi #1.
Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Mayegun diary Nayibi #1.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí YouTube.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Kí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí bá.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Aṣòfin ti ń rúfin o.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú.
Mayegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o, Mayegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀, Mayegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ̀. Oníkanṣá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Ha! Kì máa yí ṣe eré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o, ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta.
Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
tẹnitẹni ọmọ máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sè mọ́bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀bọ̀lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ fòyà àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù máyé ègún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì máyé ègún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
máyé ègún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì máyé ègún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.